man who is not new to this world, but a man who has been in the studios before, but not in Spice. But today we have him around. He's a gentleman all the way from Israel, but he represents Israel in Kenya. So I have Ambassador Gideon Behar. Ambassador, please salimia wananchi.
Jambo. Habari.
Tell them, how did you start learning Swahili, Ambassador?
Well, I really love people.
Yes.
And when you love people, you want to be able to communicate directly with them.
Yes.
And the most important thing is the language. So I speak 7 languages.
Yes.
And Swahili is my 8th one, number 8. And I've started to study Swahili by Zoom with a teacher, a very talented teacher called Emma, and later on Esther from Kenya. And I'm still studying. And I think that this is a great way to communicate with people. Ninapenda Kiswahili sana.
Asante sana. So, what other languages do you speak? Ngani?
Well, I speak Hebrew, of course, English. Because of my wife, I speak also Dutch. I speak German.
Ooh.
I speak Arabic. Actually, I speak several dialects of Arabic.
They're different.
Well, there are different kinds of Arabic. So I speak the Jewish dialect of Baghdad.
Yes.
Because my mother was born there in Baghdad, so I do speak a little bit of it.
Yes.
I used to serve also in Tunisia, so I speak the Tunisian dialect. I was there for 4 years.
Yes.
And in school I learned literary Arabic, so I speak this one as well. I do speak French. I really love French.
Yeah.
And what more? Wolof. Wolof is the national language
of Senegal.
Of Senegal. I was ambassador to Senegal for 5 years.
Yes.
And I really loved Senegal.
Yeah.
And I was the only ambassador then to speak Wolof. So I used to give interviews on Wolof, speeches on Wolof, to communicate with people on Wolof. And I really hope that I will be able to do that in Kiswahili.
We hope so, man.
Pia hapa katika Kenya.
Kataichi Kenya.
And no doubt, speaking Wolof, because I've listened to some Senegalese stations, and it's quite a mouthful. I don't know how you're able to gamble that, because if you come and listen to the Kenyan dialect, you'll realize that a lot of us do the first thinking in the head before we translate it in the mouth. So we do a lot of translation. So with all these languages that you have been speaking, how are you able to translate it so fast and take it down to your mouth? Because if you speak to a Kenyan and he's thinking in Swahili, and then he speaks to you in English, it's definitely going to sound different.
Yes, it is. But I'll tell you a secret. And the secret is that you have to practice, and you have to love a language, and you have to listen to how people are speaking.
Yes.
And to be like them.
Yes. So have you ever dreamt in Swahili? Or Wolof?
Not yet.
Not yet. Because that is when you realize that you know.
You're right.
So but now, Ambassador, what apart from what you speak, you've been to Kenya now how many months?
I've been to Kenya now a little bit more than 3 months. I've arrived in the middle of August.
Middle of August.
Yes.
So you came here during the intense of the war in the Middle East.
That's right.
Yes. So what do you think is, before we move on to the geopolitics of that area, the connection between Kenya and Israel is very deep. And we have a long-standing relationship which spans into many years. You remember the raid of Entebbe. It was Kenyan government which aided the Israeli, and especially to the landing of and the jetting and the planning was done here. So is there, as your role, do you think that relationship will sustain or will take it a notch higher? Yeah.
Maybe I'll answer in Kiswahili.
Yes.
Katika Israel na Kenya iko uhusiano mrefu na mzuri sana.
Yes.
Uhusiano kihistoria na kibiblia.
Yes.
Kama balozi mpya wa Israel katika nchi ya Kenya, ninataka kuende mbele katika maeneo kama maji,
Yes.
kama ukalima, kama nguvu, kama food security,
Yes.
kama afya na elimu. Kwa sababu iko pahali mkubwa kwa kuende pamoja. The relationship really between Israel and Kenya are very good relationship, and they are based, in my opinion, on true friendship that you see with everyone that I meet. Just everywhere that I go and I say I'm from Israel, people immediately, they have something positive to say about Israel. They raise the issue about Israel. They quote the Bible. They try to even speak a little bit of Hebrew if they know. So the basic is there, and the relationship that we have, as I said, they are long relationship. Since the independence of Kenya, Israel has been very active in Kenya in different development areas.
Yes.
Whether it's agriculture, whether it's cyber security, whether it's water and energy and education and health and more and more and more. So we are, for us, Kenya is a very important partner, and we would like to carry on this very long friendship which exists between two countries, two nations, and two peoples. And this is very important for us.
Kenyans consider Israel, and when you go to churches, they pray for Israel a lot. I don't know what connection they have with the prayers, but I think it's a Bible.
It's a Bible.
It's a Bible.
Yes.
And one of the biggest achievement is to go to Israel. If you are a Christian, you want to go to the footsteps of Jesus Christ and see this is where he walked. This is, you see, they read the verses and they see this is the area where there's Jesus walked. So I think that's because Kenya is a secular state, but mostly 97% are Christians. So there's affinity to that. But maybe you tell us Israel's outlook in Middle East. What's up with what next after the Gaza conquest, or what's happening in Gaza? What do you take?
Okay, so there is a ceasefire now, an agreement that was brokered by the United States President Donald Trump, which ended the war, and now the international force, which is supposed to take care of Gaza, is being assembled, and plans are being made how to govern Gaza, how to reconstruct Gaza, and how to make sure that Gaza will not be again a threat to Israel, a security threat. And this is something that we really must understand. As long as Hamas is there, Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, and as long as Hamas holds the reins of power in its hands and is building its capacities there, it remains a threat to Israel. And according to the ideology of Hamas, Israel has no right to exist. If you read the charter of Hamas, there is no Israel there. So we want to live in peace with our neighbors, and we want to see the expansion of the Abraham Accords, these accords that put us together with countries like the Emirates, like Morocco, Bahrain, etc. We want to see them expanded to more Arab countries in the Middle East. Saying that, we must make sure that there are no security threats to Israel, and that we eliminate the threat of a new eruption of violence. And this is by having a different administration in Gaza, a force that will replace Hamas, that will eliminate this risk of war. So we are really very hopeful and very thankful also to the President of the United States that brokered this agreement. And we really hope that peace will come to the Middle East, and that there will be the possibility of living together in harmony and peace.
This living together in harmony and peace, and we would hope so, but is there any possibility of a two-state then between Palestine, because Gaza has its own area? Do we have in future where we'll have Palestine on its own area and then Israel in one area, and without Hezbollah coming in to attack?
Exactly. The issue of the political agreement is something that we really have to negotiate together directly between Israelis and Palestinians. You mentioned also the issue of Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a very devastating terrorist organization. And indeed, Hezbollah, after Israel was attacked on the 7th of October, Hezbollah immediately joined hands and started to shoot at Israel and to throw rockets. Dozens of thousands of rockets and shells were fired on Israel, and 200,000 people in the northern part of Israel had to be evacuated because the danger was so real. And indeed, we see that there are some very negative forces in the Middle East. We have mentioned before Hamas. You have mentioned Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a really extremist organization which holds Lebanon hostage. We know for sure that most Lebanese want peace with Israel, want to live in peace with Israel and rebuild their country, which is in ruins for already few decades. And by having peace with Israel, this will be possible. But the problem is this organization, Hezbollah, which is now in the process of rebuilding its military capacities, rebuilding its ballistic missile capabilities, drones capabilities, etc. And the Hezbollah organization is being aided by, we know whom, by Iran. They supply Hezbollah with missiles, with training, with money, etc., in order to make it a proxy in a war against Israel. So if we want to see a peace in the Middle East, a lasting peace in the Middle East, Iran must stop its delivery of arms, its delivery of money and weapons, etc., to these terrorist organizations in the Middle East. And these terrorist organizations must disarm and give back the power to their government, to the Palestinian Authority in the case of Hamas, to the Lebanese government in the case of Lebanon, etc.
So you've touched about the proxy war, and I'd like to go to the proxy war between Israel and Iran, where the Hezbollah are being funded by the Iranians, but Israel has been trying to incapacitate Iran. What is the extent of that?
Well, Iran is a huge threat for Israel, but not only to Israel, but to other countries in the Middle East and around the world. Iran is building a nuclear program. They want to have a nuclear bomb. And they are also building a ballistic missile program, so they will be able to launch these bombs, and they are a threat to Israel. I know it's very difficult for people to understand that. When you live in a country and you don't have enemies that say, okay, we want to eliminate you completely, or you don't have a right of existence, etc. But this is exactly what Iran is saying. Iran is saying Israel is illegitimate, we have to erase it from the map, we have to throw all the Jews to the sea, etc., etc. And when they are having this ideology and this policy, and it is backed by nuclear program and by ballistic program, and when they support and sustain so many terrorist organizations around the Middle East that attack and attacked Israel, like Hamas, like Islamic Jihad, like Hezbollah, like the Houthis in Yemen, and also by bringing Shiite militias from all corners of the earth to Syria and to Iraq to build another front against Israel, we know that their intentions are serious. And in June last year, we felt that there is no other option but to prevent the build-up of Iran military and nuclear capacities, and went on preemptive attack. But let us remember that few months before that, it was Iran who launched a grand attack against Israel with hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones, etc. So we were really under attack and threat from them, and for us it's a matter of life or death. We had really to protect ourselves.
Wow.
So how long do you think it will take them, or how well are you going to protect? The Iron Dome was breached this time round for the first time, or was it just rumors from the press?
Well, Israel has several anti-missile defense systems that were working very good, but you never have 100% protection. And indeed, we had many casualties in Israel because of and lots of damage because of missiles that were fired from Iran against the urbanic centers of Israel, the cities of Beersheba, of Tel Aviv, of Haifa, etc. When Israel attacked in Iran, it didn't attack civilians. All the attacks were against people from the military or military installations. Iran, on the other hand, targeted Israeli civilians and Israeli hospitals and Israeli cities, and we saw the result, because the people who died by the attacks of Iran were only civilians. And now you paint a picture of a nation that is probably constantly under threat because of the people that are coming against and pushing uprising against your country. And you're fairly a small country, probably the population of about maybe 10 million. So what would you credit how your long-standing endurance, despite all these constant attacks? Is it because do you credit the military strength by Israel? Well, I will tell you something. We know that the best strategy is to have peace. Okay, this is the best strategy, The best defense will not stop finally the most
sophisticated
aggressive enemy, okay? So the best strategy to live in the region is to have peace with everyone. And we are having already peace agreements with Jordan, with Egypt. We have good diplomatic ties with Morocco, with Bahrain, with the United Arab Emirates, and we want to expand this. The issue is that there are negative forces in the region, which I've mentioned before, and these are extremists. I mean, sometimes you cannot resonate with people who want to completely destroy you. That's why we need to build coalitions and to be friends with others who are also threatened by these organizations in the Middle East. And I think the proof was, the war was 2 years long. And despite the intensity of this war, not even a single Arab state broke diplomatic ties with Israel. Why? Because they understood that we are doing also their war, and we are also fighting against their enemies, and these, that Hezbollah and Hamas, and these organizations are threatening their stability as well.
So and there's this the fight which and the war between Israel and Gaza. It was started from the Gazans.
That's right, by Hamas.
By Hamas in Gaza.
Yes.
And it was a retaliation. And do you think that you've neutralized the threat as you speak?
Well, we are not sure. That's why we want, our conditions are that Gaza Strip will be demilitarized,
Yes.
that Hamas will not hold weapons anymore and will not be in power anymore.
Yes.
These are the conditions to ensure stability and peace in the region. You know, prior to the attack that happened on the 7th of October, 2023, and let us remember what it was. You know, it was a holiday in
Yes.
Israel.
Yeah.
And all by a sudden, 6:30 in the morning, thousands of terrorists crossed the borders on land, by air, by sea. They've captured dozens of settlements and kibbutzim, invaded military bases and etc., kidnapped hundreds of people, killed 1,200 people. This was a huge shock. And it happened because in the past, okay, Hamas built its capabilities, built its power. They've assembled huge arsenals of missiles, of rockets, they've trained their soldiers. They got lots of help from Iran, okay, on that. So if we want stability in the Middle East, Iran must stop interfering, arming, equipping, financing Hezbollah, Hamas, Islamic Jihad, the Houthis, and other these kinds of organizations in the region, and they have to disarm. And it's in the benefit of the nations of the region. I mean, look at Lebanon. Most of the Lebanese want to get rid of Hezbollah. When I speak to Lebanese, and I do occasionally meet them, they tell me that they suffer a lot from Hezbollah. They want Hezbollah to be removed. Believe me, there is so much that can be done in the Middle East when these organizations are not there, are not in control, are not having weapons, are not destabilizing the region. The region can be flourish. I want to say something else. Previous to my job here, I was Israel's special envoy for climate change and sustainability. And one of the main goals that I had was to create regional climate resilience. The Middle East is very prone to climate change.
Yes.
Today, as we speak, there is a horrendous drought in the Middle East. Horrendous, terrible drought. Very soon, there will be no more water in Syria and Lebanon, in Jordan, in Iraq, in Iran, and elsewhere. As we are speaking, water resources are dwindling, and this will have a huge toll on food security, on the livelihood of people in the Middle East. And my goal was to create a regional plan to combat climate change. And we can do it together. And this should be our main focus. So I really hope you know that we will come to deal with that we will be able to create regional water systems, for instance. The countries of the Middle East need Israeli expertise in agriculture, water, renewable, recycled water, desalination, etc. It's really, this is something that they desperately need, and we want to
export it,
to share the knowledge with them. And we are talking about some of the richest countries on earth, the Gulf states, we can really work together. Imagine what we can do if we bring Israeli know-how and expertise with all the financial resources of the Middle East. We can transform the Middle East and we can make it resilient to climate change. And I'm really talking very honestly. This is what I want to see.
Yeah, and I really love about what you've touched on, climate change. This year, I was in June. I was in Hamburg, Germany, during the World Sustainability Conference. I was moderating one of the sessions on the World Bank. And we discussed many issues, and I like what you've touched about. And the Middle East was a very serious problem on the international stage, because we are seeing that, the way you're saying, the water sources are drying up because of the climate change, and it affects across the globe. So if you lived in Baghdad, maybe, and that you talked about the threat between Iran has caused, do you think that breaking up Iran would be a solution?
I think that what we need is to see a change in policy in Iran. Iran mustn't be a regional threat. Iran is a threat not only for Israel, it's a threat to its region, and it wants to export its revolution, okay? Once this is stopped, we can really build a relationship again. I want to remind you that till 1979, till the Iranian Revolution, Israel and Iran were very close friends and allies.
Extremely, yes.
We cooperated on anything. So this regime must stop.
Before the Ayatollah came into power.
Sorry?
Before the Ayatollah came into power.
Yes.
And the revolution guard.
Yes. Yeah. You know, we have no problem with the Iranian people.
Yeah.
The problem is with the Iranian regime. This is the problem. They are the problem, not the people. People are very nice people. They suffer a lot. Persian civilization is one of the oldest in the world and one of the most respected one. The problem is not with the simple people that suffer. It's with a regime which is very aggressive, very extremist, and doesn't want to stop.
Ambassador Gideon, of course, we are having a good time. So, Lo,
Yes.
have you learned something?
Oh yeah, it's some deep history, and to see a strong, a small country that has be able to stand strong for that period of time.
Yes.
I think it's very impressive, and I'm really impressed also by the fighting for climate change.
Yes.
Because it's a very, very big issue. I don't know how the relationship with the United States has helped you in terms of your relationship with other countries.
Sorry, could you repeat this?
Your relationship with the United States.
Yes.
How has it helped you stand strong even against the other countries, and especially the Arab countries that surround Israel?
Well, I think that the United States is really Israel's closest ally for decades, and this relationship is based on deep friendship and mutual values, basically. And the United States has supported Israel a lot, and also has helped us to establish very good ties in the Middle East. So I'm referring to the Abraham Accords, which were brokered under President Trump in his previous term. And we think that this is very important because, again, as I have said before in the first part of this interview, that our aim is really to live in peace and harmony with all our neighbors in the region. And the help the United States gave for brokering these Abraham Accords was very important, and we really hope that these accords will be expanded to include more Arab states. And I want to say also something very interesting. Arab states generally, most of them accept Israel. Okay?
Yeah.
The problem is with non-state organizations in the Middle East, terrorist organizations. This is the problem. But these non-state organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, are very strong. Okay, they are not. And again, they are supported by Iran, get ammunition and intelligence and know-how and training, etc. But Israel is enjoying very good relationship with many Arab countries, and we want this to be expanded. This is finally our long-term goal and vision in the Middle East, because there is so much that can be done together.
As a team, yeah.
Yeah, it's the potential is huge, and the needs of the Arab states for Israeli know-how and technology are huge. I've mentioned before that this year is a year, and the year before are years of severe drought in the Middle East. There is very little rain in the taps, in the big cities in Damascus or Amman or in other places. Israel has know-how, technology to help overcome these challenges, and we are willing to give our hand and to cooperate and to work together, because we know that only by working together we will be able to face the challenges of climate change. The climate crisis is there. And you know which country in the Middle East is the only one which has enough water resources? Israel. Israel is the only country today that, despite of a drought, has efficient water resources. Not because we have big rivers or seas. No, we are a very arid state. 60% of Israel is complete desert. Nothing. Desert. But we have managed to develop ideas and mechanism to supply us with water today. We desalinate water from the sea. Most of our drinking water in the cities is coming from the sea. We have even started to send desalinated water to the Sea of Galilee, because the Sea of Galilee in the north of Israel, you know, which is very important religious site for Christians, for over 2 billion Christians around the world. This lake, the Sea of Galilee, is drying, and we are now sending water desalinated from the sea to replenish the sea. It's the first time ever in history, in human history, that we take desalinated water to fill a natural lake. And also another thing which is done in Israel, and this enables us to have water for agriculture today, is that we purify almost every drop of sewage. Every 97% of all the wastewater in Israel,
you recycle.
We recycle. This is a world record. And this enables us to irrigate and to use half of our agriculture is irrigated. The other half is rain-fed, but these are, things which like wheat or which are not very important for the food security in Israel. But our basket of food security is supplied today by recycled and wastewater which was treated and reused. I think this is amazing, and my wish is to see every country in the world doing the same. My wish is to see every country using its wastewater, recycling its wastewater. And for us, and this is very important, really, Charles and Solomon, this is very important. For us, there is nothing such as wastewater.
There's nothing like yes.
It is a resource.
You recycle every drop.
Yes, it is a resource. I mean, why to pollute the environment and nature with sewage, etc., while you can treat it and reuse it again?
Actually, it's very important, and you brought us back to your pet subject, and pet, and we love it. Remember, part of also climate change is and sustainability is one of my key areas, and I love being part of the discussion. Kenya 90% of agriculture is rain-fed.
It's rain.
98%.
Yeah, largely.
Yeah, it's actually because there are some areas we try doing a lot of irrigation, but it's not up to standard. And now government has started doing something called Gulalna Kulalu, where they're doing some maize farming on the coastal part of Kenya. And I'm not sure that they're doing it right, or they have the enough requisite technology and the components that drive it forward. But how can Israel then help Kenya to achieve food security through irrigation and such form of agriculture?
Okay. Just to say that Israel has been very active in the last decades in the agricultural field in Kenya. Most of the flowers sector started by Israeli companies, avocado. If you see the greenhouses in Kenya, many of them are done by Israeli companies. So, and also Israel as a government has been very active in building capacities in Kenya. Throughout our relationship, we have sent thousands of people to be trained in Israel in agriculture, in renewable energy, in water, in education, health, etc. And we also do training here. And so what we want is really to do capacity building and knowledge transfer. We think this is the most important thing. Now, if you look at Kenya and the climate change models, okay, you can look them up on the internet. I've looked them up as Israel's special envoy for climate change, and I've seen big parts of Kenya, Eastern Africa, and Africa in general will dry up in the coming decades. What will happen to the small farmers, smallholders? What about them?
They cannot sustain agriculture after that.
Yes, but there are solutions.
Yeah.
There are solutions. And the number one solution really is if I will do something in my stay in Kenya, and I will say, Gideon, you have done a good job, is really to persuade people to move into irrigated agriculture. The most people will do that, the better adaptation they will have, and the better capacity they will have to produce more food. This is the most important thing. You know, we see it already. Patterns of rains have changed.
Completely.
Yeah, I mean, people are lost. People are lost. What's the answer? The answer is really irrigation. Not only on large scale, but also for the small holders. Okay? And there are ways to do that. There are family drip irrigation, very small. I've done that while I was ambassador in Senegal. In Senegal, in the 5 years in my tenure as ambassador, I helped transform Senegal from a country which was its agricultural production based on rain-fed irrigation. It has moved a lot into irrigated agriculture, and people are using drip irrigation. This is what we have to do, to introduce as much as possible drip irrigation. Also, on small scale, for the small farmers, we should not forget them. The big farms are already doing that, and they will continue to do that because they have the resources. This is one thing. A second most important thing, in my mind, is to replenish the aquifers. Okay? We must give back what we take.
The water back to the aquifers.
Yes, we cannot only pump water from the aquifers and think that they will not get drier or salty, or etc. And there are simple ways to, to build small barracks, layman's, or, to dig some tunnels that hold the water and help the water repenetrate the soil, not let the water run
into the ocean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We must make sure that we give back always. We take, we give. We take, we give. So we must replenish them. And another thing, and the president has already mentioned it, it's a strategy of Kenya to plant trees. This is very important, to plant trees, because trees are creating microclimate, okay, and trees are also producing rain. So the more trees that will be planted here, the more rain there will be, and in the dry areas and the semi-dry areas, it will keep the atmosphere a bit cooler, the temperatures a bit cooler. It will enable us to sustain agriculture also in arid areas. So again, number one, to move into irrigated agriculture, and not forget the smallholders. Number two, fill up the aquifers, replenish them. And number three, plant as many
trees as possible.
Native trees, fruit trees as possible.
So, and I like your roadmap, which is a plan which is very sustainable. One of these days, we'll have a drive and show you some areas which are dry. We'll see what we can do.
We'll see what we can do to change the situation.
Yes. Yeah, around Kajiado there. I drive there sometimes, and I have very many Maasai friends of mine, and when I go to visit, they think I'm a very big man on radio. So, thank you very much. So, apart from, and you talked about the drying up of the worst famine in the Middle East this time round, and the chance to reclaim and bring everyone together so that you have a better future together. Is there any plan which was in place before this war came in?
I had lots of plans and lots of strategies. Unfortunately, most of them stopped because of the war. I do believe that they will come back. One was successful. One of the most negative effect of climate change is sea level rise. Sea level is rising. I don't know how much they know about it, but this is very dangerous. Sea level is rising today by 0.5 centimeter per year. 0.5 centimeter and accelerating. And we are talking about average sea level rise, okay? By mid-century, sea level rise will be 60, 70 centimeters more than it is now. By the end of the century, it depends on the emissions, how much CO2 humanity will emit. It can be between 1 to 2 meters. These are the estimations, okay? I don't want to confuse you with more data about it, about glaciers in Antarctica, etc., that will melt. But we are marching toward between 1 to 2 meter sea level rise
every year.
Average. Average. And, we live in the Mediterranean Sea. Israel is in the Mediterranean Sea. And I said, come on, the effects of sea level rise on the Mediterranean Sea are huge. The Mediterranean Sea is a closed basin. If you can imagine the Mediterranean Sea, the map of it, you see it's closed. It has only 2 entrances. Near Spain and Morocco and Egypt. That's it. And the effects of sea level rise are already felt there. And I said, come on, we must have unified plan for all the countries of the Middle East to tackle sea level rise. What can we do? How can we mitigate it? How can we adapt to it? It is happening. So we must really cooperate together. And I worked very hard on that to mobilize a regional plan for sea level rise. And this summer there was a summit in Malta that brought together ministers of environment from all the Mediterranean Sea countries to deal with this issue of sea level rise. What I'm saying is that climate change is a huge challenge, but also an opportunity, okay? And it's very important that we really address both challenges, but also see the opportunities. And the opportunities are in regional cooperation, international cooperation. It also opens up lots of new technologies. Climate innovation is a huge issue. In Israel, 1 out of 6 new startups is in climate innovation, climate technologies. And it brings lots of investment to the country, it strengthens the economy, etc. And we think that Kenya can also be a leader, a regional leader in climate innovation. I read the newspapers and see the news. There are lots of good ideas here. These ideas must be supported, and so they will be scalable and reach the right people. And just 3 weeks ago, we had a delegation of 6 startups from Israel who came here, 6 climate change startups with very good solutions adapted for Kenya and for Africa, mostly in agriculture, but also in water. Just an example to illustrate, there was a startup, a company, that is doing irrigation by the moisture in the air.
Interesting.
You take the moisture from the air, make water of it, and use it for irrigation. This can be good for the arid areas of Kenya. And it's also very important to know that the effects of climate change will be with us for decades. Okay, they will not, even if tomorrow we become net zero emitters, there is no emissions in the world, still climate change will continue. So we have to prepare and understand that preparedness for climate change is a never-ending story. And this was my message also in Israel. In Israel, I played a very central role in preparing our country for climate change. And the preparedness was done mainly by changing the mindset of people. Okay, I'll give you an example. We have talked before about sea level rise.
Yes.
The authority responsible for planning in Israel was authorizing construction along the shores. This is also economically very attractive areas to be near the sea, but you cannot authorize construction plans if this place will be flooded, and for sure, because the models show you it will be flooded. So we had to do different planning and to change the set of mind of people and tell them, let's draw lines on the map, let's see how much the sea will rise, let's treat different scenarios, etc., etc. So and we have succeeded. Now it is integrated into planning in Israel.
It's integrated. And now when you talk about the sea level rise, the biggest problem we have in Kenya today is ocean and rivers water rise in Kenya. And Lake Naivasha, Lake Baringo. The people who used their resorts, which are already now completely
displaced,
swallowed by the lake back, reclaimed by the lake. So I think the idea of having a proper preparedness of this climate change and looking at the opportunities would be fundamental in our nation. Maybe it's good to share the ideas you have so that we can also, because I have a friend of mine called Peter Meta, the owner of a crayfish camp. He's managed to now, his camp is totally taken over by the water.
Yes.
Yeah. Completely.
How can we use that, those high level and rising of lakes, especially in water bodies? How do we utilize that and make it beneficial to the society and the community? Like, for example, like he said, places like Baringo and places just as close here, like Lake Naivasha. And so many people have been displaced. How do we use that to the benefit of people and the community?
I want to say that last week I've been in Naivasha.
Yes.
And I've seen how the lake is rising and
Yes.
flooding the houses. And,
Yes. Displacing
my heart,
people.
really, my heart is with the population.
Yes.
The people who are losing their homes, with owners of hotels whose property is already
Consumed.
inundated, etc. So this is, for me, is very, very sad. I'm not that familiar with the geographical situation and the conditions there, so I cannot give a precise advice on that, but there are some ways probably to stop the floods of water into the lake, or I don't know, to build some dikes to stop the water from rising. But there should be, of course, maybe there is a plan to do it.
Yeah. So, and it's important to have that, because when the family loses a livelihood,
Yeah.
and of course it becomes very difficult, especially for the resorts and the people who used to work there. It's a loss of employment as well,
Huge.
and lots of revenue. But one ambassador, what I wanted also to know is that when you said there's so many startups which come, maybe are there any startups which are coming soon so that we can have an Israeli-Kenya trade fair, maybe, where people can learn all these beautiful things Israel is doing in the world?
My vision, or one of my goals here as an ambassador, is really help Kenya create an innovation center for startups. In Israel, we have several of these innovation centers. We call them nurseries. It's the place, like where you do seedlings in a nursery. This is the way how you also grow startups. And to succeed in a startup, you must give it support, advice, help it raise money, etc. So I'm really looking for partners to work with and to see how we can make adaptation of the Israeli model here in Kenya.
Okay.
And I really want to see Kenya moving in the direction of advanced technology, high-tech, I mean, to develop also agriculture, but also to develop the high-tech sector that will pull the economy, that will pull the young generation. In Israel, 20% of the GDP is coming from high-tech. It's the highest in the world, just to a comparison. In the United States, is 9% is coming from the GDP is high-tech, and the European Union, I think it's about 6%. Israel is 20%.
Wow, that's high.
And this is the fastest growing sector in the economy. Now, we have been in a very costly war for 2 years, and the economy continues to grow. And to
Interesting.
expand. Yes, continues to grow, to expand, and to attract investments. Why? Because there are so many good ideas and technology in Israel, and people want them, and we see them everywhere. Today, almost in every device that you use, whether it's your cell phone, your computer, your television, the cloud, there is Israeli technology.
In it, yes.
Almost everywhere. In almost every, Microsoft has one of its major innovation and development centers in Israel. NVIDIA, which do AI and other also. And they're all the big companies in the world that do high-tech, have development centers in Israel. Kenya can do that. Kenya can be the gate to Eastern Africa and to Africa. I'm sure about it. Because, I meet the people here and I see talent. I see ideas, and I see motivation. And I know that this can be translated into something much bigger than it is now.
Fantastic.
The spirit is there. The spirit. The most important thing is the spirit.
Yes.
The spirit and to start walking on the path of innovation. Okay. And to always think, what can I do? And even when I speak to, let's say, simple people. Okay, no one is simple, but I see people have ideas. People want to develop businesses. People want to do things. So the spirit is there to walk on the path, to start walking on the path of innovation, of high tech.
Thank you very much, Bwana Ambassador. I know that the centers of Israel are centers of excellence in especially innovation, and I have a brother who studied there. He always praises the Israeli technology every day. When you go to the village in Nyanza, he says, if I was in Israel, this one would have done better. I tell him, my friend, you're back in Nairobi.
And in terms of even agriculture,
yes.
I think we have one person who from Israel. I think he also used to work at the Israeli embassy.
No, Gilad.
We had Gilad.
Gilad called me yesterday, actually.
Yes.
Milo.
Yes. Who's a musician here, and he's doing very well, especially in farming and agriculture. And I think he's garlic, and he's brought, I think, that kind of innovation and practice in Kenya, which is actually doing good. And I don't know, there are plans also to link up with other farmers and show them such.
Yeah, I think that yes, and I think the idea is, if you see something which works good, a model, to multiply it.
Yes.
And he is succeeding, and he's working with small farmers. He's empowering small farmers, and he has created a model which is economically sustainable.
Yes.
It's not charity.
Yes, true.
It's economically
sustainable. Yes.
They generate revenues.
This
is important.
I think it's very good. But maybe, one ambassador, as we close, I wanted you to tell us, you lived in Baghdad. When was it?
Well, I didn't live in Baghdad. My mother was born in Baghdad. Yes, my mother was born there. And,
during the times of Saddam el-Hussein?
No, she has come to Israel in the 30s.
Okay.
When she was very young. But the family kept the language, which was a special dialect of Judeo-Arabic.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It was Arabic written in Hebrew characters, and with lots of Hebrew words. So they kept their tradition. And there was in Iraq a very huge Jewish community.
A big community, yes.
Yeah,
big.
Iraq is Babylon.
Yeah, it's Babylon, yeah.
Babylon.
Yeah.
Babylon. This is where the king of Babylon conquered Judea and destroyed the Holy Temple 2,600 years ago. The Jews went to the first diaspora where?
In Babylon.
And since then,
they never come back. Yeah.
Well, they did. But some of them remained.
They never came back, all of them.
Not all of them.
So it's interesting to know that I know, but so people who don't understand, but Iraq was part of Iran before it was carved up to Iraq, and it was the big Babylonian Empire, and the Iran was a Persian. So it's good to know. But Ambassador, maybe have you enjoyed your stay in Kenya now?
Very much.
What are your favorite meals? What are you enjoying coming from West Africa? I think there's so much pepper there. I don't know. What are you enjoying here?
Well, I enjoy chapati, sukuma wiki. I'm vegetarian, so I enjoy basically the good vegetarian food, the ananas, mananasi, avocado, these kinds of things.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
No, I really ninapenda Kenya sana. Ninapenda wa Kenya. Ninapenda culture wa Kenya ya lugha ya Kiswahili. And I really hope to be a friend of yours here in Kenya and to work together, because finally the world is one.
It's one.
And we are united under one God and one earth.
Yes.
And we must work together and live together. Pamoja. Lazima kuenda mbele
Pamoja.
pamoja. Hatua kwa hatua, lakini pamoja.
Karibu sana Bwana Ambassador kwa mambo hayo matamu mazuri. Lakini lazima tukupeleke Masai huko kwa kulima huko.
Okay. With pleasure.
Lazima tuende huko.
Lazima.
So are you also extending an invitation to Kenyans to visit Israel? Probably they would love to know what will they learn even for a simple visit.
So there is a lot to be learned in Israel. Technology, agriculture, innovation, startups. If you go to Tel Aviv, it's a very vibrant place. You feel it. You feel the hectic, the movement of the people. Also, biblical Israel is really amazing and beautiful, and to walk in the same places where Jesus Christ walked. To walk in the same places you have read about in the Bible. To see in your eyes Jerusalem. Jerusalem is beautiful.
I have to come to Jerusalem.
You must come. You must
great.
come.
Yeah.
And you must make your prayers there.
Yes, I have to.
And it's really very, very inspiring. And I really hope we will have peace everywhere in the world, and people will be able to flourish and to live together, but we have to work for that. And Israel is certainly an amazing place to come and to visit.
And
Nazareth, Bethlehem, the Sea of Galilee, etc., etc.
all those historic places. Because I remember there's a time even President Ruto had taken a photo when he visited Israel, and he went to the religious places.
The wall of Jerusalem to pray.
To pray. And before that, I think what people used to know about Israel was basically about your tight security and and a very good protection and training that comes from there, especially for the military and bases like that. So it's really encouraging to hear that even when Kenyans visit Israel, there's so many places to go see and so much to learn about.
And to be inspired.
And to be inspired as well. That's great.
For us, being inspired is very key, because it's a wonderful space and a wonderful place, and it's good to travel and to learn and to see what Israel has done. What shocks me is that the food security in Israel, yet 60% of it is dry.
It's dry. That is absolutely amazing.
It's amazing. And for me, someone who really follows climate change and sustainability, I always think that my dream is to go and see what we can do, and we can do with this area of land east of our side where it's very dry, and we need to empower people.
That's true.
We need to empower the Kenyans around there, also to impart them with knowledge to do agriculture which is more sustainable. Because in a year or two, in a year to come, I know 50% of Maasai cows will die because of
the rain patterns have changed.
And it is sad, every 2 years we undergo where these guys have to lose a lot of animals.
That now they're coming even
because
to the
they don't
city.
have grazing areas.
They're coming to graze animals in the city. And it's very interesting that he has said that. That moment that you have been here, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is Kenya faring in terms of utilizing the climate and the effects of climate change and everything that is happening? What can you say? What's the state of Kenya? Where do you place it?
I can humbly say that I cannot judge. Only being 3 months. But based off my previous experience and also the way, I've traveled only a little bit, but from what I see and what I know is the three issues that I've mentioned before.
Yes.
Move as much as possible into irrigated agriculture in order to ensure food security. Also, when there is little rain or rain patterns are shifting, and try to use drip irrigation, because drip irrigation is the most efficient way to irrigate. It uses 50% less water than flood irrigation and increase twice the crop compared to flooding the area. So irrigation, then replenishing of the aquifers. What we take from the soil, we have to bring it back. And there are simple ways to do that. And number 3, plant as many trees as possible. This is the strategy. The strategy is, the main columns of the strategy. Indigenous trees, fruit trees, trees that will give us more rain, will calm the temperatures, will give us shade, will give us food. This is what we need.
All right. Thank you very, very much, Bwana Ambassador. We appreciate your time for coming to the studio today and to share with us those great insights on the Spice Drive, the show that brings to you heavy conversations, beautiful narratives, and also now you understand what's happening in the Middle East and, of course, or the climate change. Ambassador is Gideon Behar, who has been here with us this afternoon. Anaongea Kiswahili kizuri sana kwa miezi mitatu ambaye amekuwa hapa Nairobi. Wananchi wa Kenya, tumkaribishe ndugu huyu, atakuwa Mswahili kabisa.
Amen.
Yeah. Are you working on a Swahili name?
Tuonana tena.
Thank you very much for coming for Spice Drive. We really appreciate you, Bwana Ambassador. Asante sana, Mungu akubariki.